said, I worked for the forestry for 28 years.
Yeah.
8 of which was pine plantations and orange district. I moved up here and started in the research section.
How old are you?
20 years here.
Right.
EIS studies, we really implement, doing surveys for EISs for logging.
Did they do environmental impact statement?
They
So they actually did an environmental impact statement on the likely impact of the type of logging or any logging? Or?
just general logging, and yeah, we were doing surveys for plants and animals. And yeah, we found quite a few rare and endangered species out there. A lot of the areas that we found are stuck in the mountain parks.
Right, yeah.
So, more of the old growth type forests, and weren't touched. We'll have white logging go through. But, then I ventured out of that to, that's a close research section down in Wallhead. I was probably out there 6-7 years when it sort of transferred up to Coast Harbour. And I went in as a field worker ranger for Wallhead District, Wallhead Tender. And we maintained all the raised picnic areas and small grass and quite a few other places. I then went into the logging side of the game, supervision. And
how long ago would that have been?
I've done about 3 or 4 years. 3 years in the role of ranger, and then so that was.
Would that be after the regional forest agreement was signed? Around that time?
Just before.
Right, just before. Yeah. Yeah.
Done a couple of years of sort of basic training from other supervisors, logging foremen.
Yeah.
And at that stage it was tree marking for retention. We kept everything that was going to be a good tree in the future. Very selective. Was so many stems per hectare, depending on the age of the trees and the sites.
So it would be cut so many stems per hectare?
Would be less.
Would be less,
yeah.
Yeah.
To get maximum growth rates.
What proportion per hectare would typically be left?
Oh.
You know, if you had a proportion of the trees per compartment or hectare, what would be typical?
Well over half.
Always well over half.
Initial, when I first go through, it's we were living somewhere around the vicinity of 100 to 120 trees per hectare.
Yeah.
Because as they got bigger, we
yeah.
took more out.
And it was mixed species.
Very much so.
Yeah.
A lot of the areas around here have always been generally blackbird areas.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we kept food trees and habitat trees, recruitment trees for future habitat.
Of all different types.
Yeah.
It's not
Oh yeah, they had to be, and that was part of the requirements. At the time was, you had to keep so many different types of trees for your animals. Then Boral got the agreement, the 20-year good supply agreement. Most of the loggers that were in the game at that stage disappeared, bought out. They were offered an exit package. The forestry wanted to get rid of all these contractors and do it at a rate that they could make money. Forestry actually took over the running of the forest, whereas before Boral used to set the rate that they paid contractors. The contractors were all really employed by the board.
Before the regional forestry.
Or before the wood supply agreement. So previously, forestry would dictate how the forest was going to be harvested and state, yes, you had this retention rate, you had these species to be retained, etc. Then when they brought out the wood supply agreement, forestry thought, hang on a minute, we can make money out of this because we'll pay the contractor to harvest our product, we'll sell the product to Boral and make money in the middle. So the government actually bought out all the contractors that were in pre-existence and the mills.
Right.
And some of those girls have been in generations. That's like, they had a lot of money invested in it, but at the rate that they had to put in to win contracts back, it just wasn't viable for them. So they went out of business, the government paid them out. Some of the contractors put in ridiculous prices to get jobs.
So they were underpaid.
Oh yeah. But they're backed up and supported by the forestry at the time.
Yeah.
To keep them viable, keep them operating. Boral virtually drove out all the smaller mills, buying timber that they normally wouldn't have, they wouldn't want.
Just to mean that they'd be starved to timber, the smaller mills would be starved to timber.
Yeah. So at that stage they just become the dominant mill.
Yeah.
So yeah. And then they could dictate what they wanted to take then.
Right.
And then there was changes in the specifications.
And they could dictate to forestry too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, they had to do a lot of negotiations on what log was a cradle log, what was salvaged, what they would pay for it. They were always telling us that they were paying too much. And it's one of the cheapest sales routes that we ever find.
So Boral really ended up with a monopoly that was able to dictate to the government what it would pay.
And there was a 20-year agreement. And the government at the time was, and still is, as far as too scared to pull the reins in because they had to pay out of contract.
Yeah. Okay.
It cost them quite a bit of money.
Yeah.
When the Carr government started giving a lot of forests to the national parks, that took out huge tracts of land for logging purposes. We were still forced then to take more timber from a smaller area and still fulfill this contract.
And they could, I understand that in 2003 they had a review and they could have reviewed and negotiated the yield down, but they didn't.
No.
The Auditor General says that they didn't change the yield when they could have in 2003.
As far as I'm aware, they didn't because they were I know how they doctored the figures out, but they told us that they still had timber out there to supply.
The forestry told you this.
And they don't know where it's
So their yield modelling was not accurate.
not told. Far from it.
Do you think that that was because they didn't know or didn't have the resources to find out, or
No,
do you,
They knew.
and why do you think they, why could it have possibly been in their interest to not represent accurately what was going on?
Personalities and egos that we can make the money.
Within forestry?
Yeah. Within management.
Right. So this was at a regional level, and there were people that were, they wanted to demonstrate that their region could pull in a lot of money for forestry.
Yep.
And that they were good operators and that sort of thing, because forestry was now a money-making.
Yeah, it had to show a return. That was set budgets and we had to show that return. So, yeah, it was all stops to make that money.
So, would this have happened at every regional level? Like this is the lower northeast.
All over.
and so this occurred with the 3 regional forest agreements in New South Wales. I think New South Wales got 3.
Yep.
The upper northeast,
Yep.
the lower northeast, and I think they've got the southeast one. And so in each of these, managers were competing to show that they could make more money for the government, and
Oh,
that
yeah.
therefore they were stating they had more available.
Yes.
Do you feel that's the picture?
Yes. I heard one of our senior foresters there state that the timber resource was not there in these compartments that they surveyed, and they were told to redo the figures.
Now, that when John Fulton was planning manager there, I personally heard that there was one day there they were having to go through and do so-called stock take, and it was from the aerial photographs where they had to, they would count off this film, and he laughed. He said, "I've just handed in the figures to Kathy Jones, the regional manager, and said, this is all that we've got. We don't have enough for the next 4 years." And she said, "Well, you're just going to have to go and find it then, aren't you?" That was a quote. I was sitting in the fire map room while they had all this set out and heard that statement, and that was in 2006. So, yeah, that was last year. They were saying they were pretty much going to run out of timber, and in the last couple of years we've driven around, and everywhere we see, it's clearful. Or they're gaps that previously used to be nice, small, tiny little gaps that were just here and there. Their gaps are now more or less clearful.
Logging practices changed when they started to, we had to go and do surveys and get compartments licenses. So, initially, when I first started the game, the license was just one piece of paper that was a site where the regional forestry said, "Yep, we're going to log that, and this is how we do it," 1 or 2 pages. And ended up being a huge document for each compartment. So, it was very costly to do the surveys, roughly $10,000 a lot. And they had to get that money back plus make returns. So they started changing logging practices so that they would try and regenerate the forest without having to go back in there and just keep chopping it. But they started putting gaps in.
During the Great Selection.
Yes. So we're going in, looking for the bigger trees, taking them out. We still had our retentions that we had to put, which were set by the partners. And the partners used to sort of order this fairly regularly, but losing the funding there. Then it was found that these gaps weren't really working.
So we're regenerating.
Well, they weren't regenerating, plus we're going back in there in 5 years' time
Yeah.
and logging trees next door
Yeah.
and smashing those ones down the average.
Yeah.
So it was decided then that they would do
Single tree selection.
no, it was more
Clearful.
yeah, it was more clearful. And like so many trees per hectare as the sea trees, which you'll see up there now.
But they call it single tree selection.
No,
They're not supposed to take more than 40%.
40% of
But
the
they,
area.
yeah, but
Yes.
what they can then do is say that everywhere else is an offset. So they can take 80% and then just leave some sea
And
trees.
your offset will be the worst timber production area that they can have in that compartment. And they will join compartments
To
put them in
create the offset.
one logging coop
Yes.
so that they can have that big patch
As an
of
offset.
rubbish.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they can log the crap out of the rest of it.
You know why it's very interesting for me being in this house? because I've pieced this together and I've already written all that is happening. And you are confirming everything I thought.
That's true. It's dead true.